as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of prayer. We affirm our life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that
Yes, there is only love. There is only peace. There is only wholeness and oneness and harmony and joy. And it is all ours. We just say yes. And so it is. I'm sure that you have noticed that our candle ceremony is a little different during our season of peace. During this season, we light 2 candles. The first to honor different paths to peace, and today is the Buddhist prayer for peace. May all beings everywhere who suffer of body and mind quickly be freed from their illnesses. May those frightened cease to be afraid, and may those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of befriending one another. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearless wilderness, the children, the aged, the unprotected, be guarded by beneficial celestials, and may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. And the second candle is always our candle for healing, the candle of love. We invite you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone you wish to be included in this healing flame of love, light, and peace. And now that our flames of faith are fully lit, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. And so it is. Please join me in our purpose, vision, and mission. Our purpose, our reason for being. We awaken and inspire love and oneness. Our vision, what do we want to create? What do we want to become? We are an empowered, uplifting, inclusive community. And our mission, how are we going to go about doing this? We teach spiritual transformation with grace and joy. We have changed this up a little bit. Instead of a sacred reading, we now have a sacred quote. And this quote comes from Living Science of Mind, page 136, paragraph 2. The nature of God is wholeness. Our divine inheritance is self-sufficiency, perfection, peace, and wholeness. And so it is. And so it is.
God, you are every mountain, God, you are every ocean, God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky, God, you are every morning, God, you are every midnight, God, you are every moment, every second in my life. God, you are every sunrise, God, you are every moon glow, God, you are every starshine, every inch of earth and sky, God, you are every springtime, God, you are every snowfall, God, you are every season, every second in my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Hello, my name is Valerie Sherman, and I am one of the licensed practitioners here at the center that we call the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. I love it when you all participate. Makes me feel so good. It's like I'm in my classroom. It really is. And this is a classroom, right? Because it's a classroom where we learn how to set ourselves free. And so one of the ways that we can set ourselves free is to pray. And there are many ways that you can receive prayer. You can receive prayer by filling this out if you are here in person. And this goes into the lovely box back there in the corner as you walked in. And I will set those intentions and those prayers and send them out to all of us so that we may pray for you. I believe it's all 17 of us. Is that right, Rev? 17? Yeah. All 17 of us, and we will pray for you all week long. Then you also can call here to the center. Rev Don will receive the message, or Blaze, and they will let one of us know, or Rev Don will contact you himself. You can also go online. If you go online, there's a place to receive prayer, and Rev Linda is the one who sends us out that message. So there's always someone that's available that is spreading that message out to all 17 of us, and we are knowing the truth for you all week. And we do that with each other. And it's not just praying when you're low, it's praying and bringing that vibration of celebration higher and higher and higher too, because we love to pray for more of your good too. So all you have to do is say yes in receiving your prayer. We also have opportunities where you can say yes. So, before I do that, every month, the Gracious Giving Committee gets together in January. I'm a part of that. And we decide where that 5% is going to go every single month. For this month, it will go to the Alaska Literacy Project for the month of February. And yes, that's a wonderful thing. It's really hard to narrow it down, I have to tell you, to 12 different things because there are so many opportunities for giving, but we do try to make sure that we are giving back to Alaska when we're looking at those things. Okay, and then the season of nonviolence. You may have noticed if you're here that there is a peace table. If you're not here, you can come here right after service or during service and look at the peace table that our wonderful Christina Young put together. There are books, there are different gifts for yourself, so please look to that. And then also we have the social meditation with Gail Jackson. I participated this past Thursday. It was wonderful. If you've never done social meditation, it's a great way just to say yes. It's only a half an hour commitment. We get together via Zoom. There will not be a session this Thursday as Gail will be out of town. So the next session will start on Thursday, February 17th, and it goes till March 7th, is it? I'm not quite sure because that gives a time of 7 to 7:30, and I can't remember exactly which March we end with. But there is more time for you to receive that exact information for the ending. And then we have a book study that's going on that I also signed up for this. I have been saying yes to a lot lately because it's Rev Ann and Rev Rachel that are going to be doing this book. It's a book from her book study. It's looking at darkness. Rev Rachel is very open about how she's dealt with her own depression, and it's you're able to attune to that by doing this experience with both Rev Ann and Rev Rachel. And we'll be reading parts of it and then discussing it together. So you sign up online through Facebook, or you can go to the ACSL page, and there's a link for you there to sign up. Volunteers are needed, and it is a very small commitment. So if you have just a little bit of time on a Sunday and you're only available like once a month, this is perfect for you because that's the only commitment it is. You come, and Bob and others will be showing you exactly what it is that you have signed up for when you've said yes to helping with sound and video. And it really is, there are some different options. You don't have to say yes to the whole experience, right, Bob? You can only go into your lane. Like Rev Ann, she has a lane. She does one piece, but it still makes it so that people who are on sound get a chance to have a break and a rest. Did I catch everything? Yes, I did. Except for one other part. We are sharing really some wonderful things, right? About things that we didn't know about our speakers. And I just said to Rev Dawn, come on, get with the program. It's okay. We get to know more about you. It's all right. Today, I'd like to share how Rev Dawn finds his peace. How Rev Dawn finds his peace. How does he? Yes, how does Rev Dawn find his peace? Well, Joy loves to leave her beautiful hairs on Rev Dawn. And when Rev Dawn looks down, he sees joy, and joy brings him peace. That's so wonderful, isn't it? We can all be reminded that joy can bring us peace. And now, on to special music.
Come tumbling down, I choose joy, I choose joy. When the world stops spinning round, I choose joy, I choose joy. When my heart's hard to move, when my music's lost the groove, when I have too much to prove, I choose joy, I choose joy. All I see, I choose joy, I choose joy. When the fear won't let me be, I choose joy, I choose joy. When betrayal and lies hide the light from my eyes, I look up to the sky and I choose joy, I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy.
Indeed, I choose joy. We did a test. 1, 2, 3. No.
And he's on.
Should know to complete the sound check. We did a preliminary, but we did not finalize it. So another lesson learned. And really, life is all about a continuing unfolding of lessons to be learned. Welcome everyone to the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to those of you who are here today. Thank you for coming out. Welcome to those of you who are watching live on Facebook Live, and welcome to those of you who are viewing us later on either Facebook or on YouTube. I'm continuing today in the 5-part series that I'm doing on Back to Basics. And I think that it's important for us, even though we may have been in the philosophy for decades, to go back and look at some of the basic building blocks of what we believe. And for those of you who are new to our center, new to us and what we are, this is a little bit about what we believe. One thing that's important about our philosophy, we call it open at the top. We don't tell anybody what to believe. We do not have a dogma. We don't have a creed that has to be memorized, anything like that. The most we can hope for is maybe help you to how to think. We certainly don't tell you what to think. So these are my interpretations. These are some of my thoughts. They happen to be in alignment with a lot of the teachings of our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. But you're free to think whatever you want. And we'll have a couple of examples of that today. I have 3 major points. I'm going to talk about that we live in a universe of wholeness. Secondly, that we have free will. We are free to do anything we want. And third, we live in an abundant universe. First of all, we live in a universe of wholeness. This is a universe of wholeness, allness, and oneness. Spirit is a transcendent and perfect whole that harmoniously embraces all seeming opposites. It is infinite inclusivity. Now, I know that's a real mouthful. To boil it down, simply stated, God is all there is. God is all there is. Now, some people are uncomfortable talking about God. I'm talking about that infinite creative force in the universe. I'm talking about that which we sometimes have a difficult time assigning a name to or calling it something. It is that is beyond. It is more than we can often give word to. And God is just a little 3-letter word, dog spelled backwards. And it's easy and handy to use, and that's why I use the term God. We're talking about that infinite creative force. And the point is that God is all there is. This infinite creative force that made all of everything, did not create something in opposition to itself. It did not create some alternate being with a tail and horns and carrying a pitchfork. That infinite creative force only created itself, and everything that there is an expression of itself, including you and I. So the question then becomes, well, Reverend Don, if God is all there is, why is there misery? Why is there war? Why is there poverty, illness? Why does all of that exist? Did God make that too? And my reply is yes. The things that we feel are bad, that's in our estimation. That is in our judgment that they are bad. And we don't always know all of the facts. I'm reminded of a story. A lady by the name of Stephanie Neff, Portsmouth, Ohio, tells a really good story. Her mother was experiencing dementia. Stephanie was a nurse in an elderly home, an elder care home. She knew what to expect from a textbook standpoint and from her own personal experience. She knew what dementia was, and she knew what she could expect and what it was, but it was still so very, very difficult to see her mother slowly slipping away. She told a powerful part of this about going to a Mexican restaurant that they went to frequently, and Mom couldn't decide what to order. And Mom had been ordering the same quesadilla at that restaurant for decades, but she couldn't make up her mind. She didn't know what to pick. And little things and names were forgotten. And well, I've already got that. I'm forgetting names. But Mom got worse and worse and worse. And Stephanie reached the point where she said, where is God in this? How can this be? Has God forgotten me? What happened? Did God go out for a smoke and forget that he has this? Mom got progressively worse and became non-communicative. She couldn't quite put together a sentence. Well, one day Stephanie and her husband were on their way out to go to a dinner they didn't have an opportunity to go to very often. And they stopped by Mom's home on the way, and her caregiver was in another room, and Mom very lucidly said, Stephanie, I want to talk to you a minute. I want to have a little conversation. Stephanie was surprised. They went into Mom's room. They sat on the edge of Mom's bed, and Mom told her, Stephanie, you are the best daughter I could have ever possibly hoped for. And she told her how much she loved her, and that just hit Stephanie. And Stephanie said, well, you are the best mom I could ever hope for. And they had an exchange that was so powerful. And at one point, Mom said, and I had to write this down. I want to get this exactly right. As Stephanie had thought, where is God in all this? Mom said, God has been with me this whole time, honey. He has been present, even in this. Now, he's going to come soon and take me home to heaven. But no one should worry about me because I will be at peace. Stephanie told her mom, I have missed you so much. And Mom's reply was, yeah, I've missed me too. Well, they had a final hug and they went on their way, and Mom went to bed. And Mom never spoke coherently again. My point is that that infinite presence is with us all the time. That infinite presence, all powerful, all knowing, present everywhere at every moment, is within each and every one of us all the time. Point number 2, we have free will. At every moment of every day, we are given the opportunity to choose. We are free to choose poverty over prosperity, sickness over health, bondage over freedom, and misery over joy. And all of these choices lie in that infinite inclusivity that is God. Spirit, whatever name you choose. It's all included in that. But you may say, but Rev, I didn't wake up this morning and decide to be sick. I didn't wake up this morning and decided to be broke. I didn't decide to hire onto a job with a jerk for a boss that doesn't have the clue about what I do, has no idea what my contributions are. I didn't wake up and make a decision to do all this. I didn't decide that. That is not my choice. My response is that sometimes we are not aware of our choices. In our practitioner training and in the things that we do, I get up here on Sundays from the pulpit and I talk about our hidden beliefs. I talk about our negative self-talk. I talk about all the ways that we sabotage ourselves, and we do so by planting these negative seeds. We've been going through these steps of what we believe in. Last week or 2 weeks ago, when I talked about the divine creative process and the seeds that we plant, the mental seeds that we plant. That's what we're going to harvest. And we can plant tomato seeds and we're going to get tomatoes. We can plant potatoes and get potatoes. We're going to get the seeds of what we plant, but we're not aware all the time of what those seeds are. Example. Was working with a lady who was looking for a job. And time after time, she didn't get it. The job was awarded to someone else. And yet I looked at her resume, it was outstanding. Outstanding. Her background, her education, every single part that she needed appeared to be perfect for that. And so we started looking at some hidden beliefs. She had been in a relationship for some time with a man who told her she was too stupid. A man that told her she would never amount to anything. A man that told her she can't do that. And she didn't realize that those tapes were still playing in the back of her mind. So when she sat in that interview process, sometimes her shoulders would droop at just the wrong time. Her facial expressions would convey a lack of confidence. And the interviewer would pick up on that and inevitably select someone else for the job. And it wasn't until she could get rid of those false beliefs, those hidden things, that she could reframe the seeds she was planting. And when we can do that, we can create anything. We can be anything. My final point is the universe is abundant. It is beyond our capacity to understand it. The way I like to think of it is you look at the heavens on a starry, cold, 20 below Alaskan night, and there are so many pinpoints of light up there that you couldn't begin to count them. And then you realize that most of those aren't stars. They're entire galaxies. And there's millions and millions of these galaxies, and each of these galaxies has millions and millions of stars. It's more than our finite minds can get their arms around. It would be like trying to count every grain of sand on every beach in the entire globe. By the time we got done with Waikiki, we could never get to the rest of them. There is too much. It's more than we can think. And that is the abundant universe that we live in. I talk about being on a trout stream and having so many salmon come in that they're bumping into my waders. We live in an abundant universe. And all of this is here for us as soon as we figure out how to access it and to use it wisely. Just like electricity. Electricity was there in the time of Moses, but we didn't know how to harness it or use it. It took Benjamin Franklin with his kite and his key until we learned a little bit more about electricity. The universe is abundant in every direction. And sometimes we look right over that which we need, which we want, without seeing it. Sometimes it's right at our very feet. Tell a story of a guy by the name of Frank LeBeau, Seminole, Florida. Frank is, I guess you could describe him best as a Good Samaritan. He's the kind of guy that helps people out. And one day, he and his wife were driving down the highway in Seminole, Florida, and there at the side of the road was a distressed motorist. Well, Frank's a pretty handy guy, and he likes to help people, and he even carries stuff that he might need for such a situation. And he pulls over, walked up to the car, and there was a lady, and she was kind of slumped over the steering wheel, and she was just sobbing, and he tapped on the window, and he says, "Ma'am, can I help?" And she said, oh, I don't think so. She said, my husband told me not to take this car, that there would be something wrong with it. And he was right, and I did it anyway. And now I'm in trouble, and my husband's going to be mad at me, and I'm stuck, and I'm not going to get here. And the tears are streaming. And he says, well, just pop the hood and let me take a look. And so she did, and he looked inside, and there in the radiator hose was a quarter-sized hole right in her radiator hose. Well, he had a lot of stuff to help a distressed motorist, but he didn't carry around any radiator hoses. So he was trying to think of something that he could do to patch it up a little bit, to, at least help her limp on to the next town where she could get something or get some kind of help. And he was thinking about it, and he just got this urge to look around. And it was almost like a voice saying, look around. Look around. So he started looking around, and he walked down the road a little ways, and he walked in, and he didn't know what he was looking for, what he was doing. Well, this is dumb. And he turned around and walked back, and just about as he got to her car, he felt something squishy under his heel. What is that? And he looked down, and there was something rubber there. And at first he thought it was the tread off of a truck tire, that the tread had come off. And then he looked down, he scraped it with his foot. It wasn't a truck tire. What was it, And he dug a little bit further. It was a radiator hose. Not only was it a radiator hose, it was the exact configuration, and it was perfectly intact. There was nothing wrong with it. He dug it out. Took him 2 minutes. He took the old one off. He put the new one on. He was carrying some antifreeze coolant mix. He filled up her tank with coolant, started up the engine, and off she went. Sometimes our good is right in front of us, and we don't see it. Frank LeBeau. So, conclusion. So today, in the departure, we're doing a lot of things different here today. Rather than give a bow to put on this, I'm going to tell one final story. And I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out how to tie this story to the points that I've made today. I'm going to talk about this idea that there is only one. Oneness, wholeness, allness, perfection. There is one power in the universe, one presence, one life, one love. A lady by the name of Lois Kennedy of Sequim, Washington, tells a story about when she was much younger. She had 2 little kids. Her family had had a fire. It burned their house completely to the ground. They lost all of everything. And her husband couldn't take it. He just couldn't take the pressure to rebuild, to do everything, and he left. And he just left her with 2 little kids. Well, she was able to get a place to live. Wasn't much, but she had a roof over her head, and she got a job. It was minimum wage, and she had to work horrible hours, but she was barely making it by each week. And there were other people in that neighborhood, in that area, in the same situation, where they were barely getting by each week. Her family had to eat a lot of mac and cheese, sometimes without much cheese. They had a lot of spaghetti, most of which had never seen a meatball, and a lot of beans. And she could usually get a ham hock or something to put in, but it was getting to be the end of the month, and she was running out of groceries and definitely out of money. And she looked in the cupboard, and all that was left was 1 small bag of beans. and an onion. And she thought, well, at least there's an onion to give it some flavor. And so it got to be near dinner time, and she was getting ready to cook the beans, and there was a knock at the door, and it was her good friend from next door, and she came in and she wanted to know if she could borrow an onion. Now, this friend was more than just an acquaintance. This friend was a dear, dear friend. It's same boat. She and her husband were barely struggling to get by, and yet she took on Lois's 2 kids, take them to school in the morning, and then watch them after school until Lois got off from her job. She had done so much for Lois to help her. Lois didn't have the nerve to say no. And even though she knew the outcome wasn't likely to be very good, she remembered scripture from somewhere. She thought it came from the Bible, but she wasn't too sure. Something about, if you give this in my name, it will be returned to you tenfold. And she thought, well, if that's what it is, God, then so be it. And so with a smile on her face, she says, yeah, I do happen to have an onion. And she gave her friend the onion. And she thought, well, this is going to be interesting. Wonder if this is going to be paid back tenfold. And so she went back, she opened her cupboard, expecting onions to come rolling out. They didn't. She looked everywhere, but no onions. And so with that, she thought, well, I guess we'll have pretty bland beans tonight. At which time there's another knock on the door. Oh, now what it is. And she opened the door, and there was the Watkins man. Now, some of you may not be mature enough to remember the Watkins man. But the Watkins man, these were guys that went door to door, and they sold household appliances. They sold little knickknacks and stuff, and sometimes they had spices, but they sold door to door. And it were usually kind of expensive. Well, she took one look to the Watkins man. She says, hey, you're in the wrong house. Let me save you time, because we don't have any money and I'm not going to be able to afford anything. So thanks for stopping by, but you need to go where you can make a sale. And he says, I understand. He looked around her sparse little front room, and he could tell that she had no money. And he got ready to leave. He says, oh, by the way, there is one thing. She says, no money. He says, no, this is free. Free? Yeah, this company wants to see if people would like this to try it out. So would you want this packet? It's free. She says, well, if it's free, okay. So she took it and she thanked him and they waved goodbye. And she went in and she was thinking about what she's doing. I wonder what this is. She looked down and looked at it. And there was a packet of dried onions. Had to have been at least 10 onions worth of diced, chopped, dried onions. And so as she enjoyed her meal that night, flavored with onions, she realized that there is a power in the universe, and it is good for us. One power, one presence, one life. And so it is with this awareness that there is indeed one power in the universe, one presence, one life, and that life is the life of God, one love, and that is the very love of God. So I speak my word now for each and every person in this entire planet, knowing that this power is for us. This power can help us through the most difficult situations when we open up and allow it to pour through us. When we get our egos out of the way and we allow that infinite creative force to help us and guide us along the way. So I speak my word for anyone who is experiencing health challenges, knowing that beyond the appearance of disease, confusion, that there is a perfection. There is that which is perfect and whole and complete within each and every one of us. I speak my word for those who are experiencing lack and limitation, not enoughness, more month than there is paycheck. We just simply know that we live in an abundant universe, and we open ourselves up to and accept all of the goodness of God in any form it may take. And I speak my word for those who are feeling separation in any relationship, whether it be at work, in the family, romantic relationships. Each and every one of us are divine creations, and each and every one of us are imbued with the very love of God. And so we can just give thanks. We can give thanks for our awareness of that power, that presence, that life. So we just step back. We let it go. We let it be. And so it is.
Shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. I'm gonna shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. And on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate standing in my power. On this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate. Oh yeah, I'm feeling great, oh yeah, and on this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate standing in my power. On this day, I'm feeling great. I celebrate, oh yeah, feeling great, oh yeah. I'm gonna shout to the world in highest jubilee. I'm gonna shout to the world for everyone to see, and I will raise my voice because I'm so happy. I'm alive, I am alive, I am alive. I am alive, I am alive, I am alive. I am alive, I am alive, I am
Oh, here we are. This is the time in the service where we are afforded the opportunity to participate in the law of circulation. As we pointed out earlier, out of our collection each month, we take 10% and we give that to the home office. We take 5% and we distribute it locally to a nonprofit in our area. This month we're giving to the Literacy Project. Last month we gave to Alpar, the litter folks. And we already got a really, really nice thank you note back from Alpar already. They were really surprised. So your offerings go a long way. Just want you to know that. Okay, so join me in our affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is. Got Tootsie Rolls.
You can't.
What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? All I am is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you.
Okay, we have some friends that were joining us online today, and that is Lynn and Marion, hello, Candy Moore, Joan, Patty, Jessica Johnson, Michelle Moore-Jones, Kaleem, Rochelle Norton, and probably Kevin might be there too, I'm thinking. So, as we come to close today, it's a wonderful talk, Rev Don. I am reminded that there is an abundant creative force always working for us, always working for our highest good. We just need to ask ourselves, what are my hidden beliefs and what seeds am I planting? I invite you to join me this week in really focusing on those two questions and our affirmation. Oh, this is perfect. I am excited to wake up each morning.
I am excited to wake up each morning
And experience this beautiful life
and experience this beautiful life
that I am creating with my thoughts and visions.
that I am creating with my thoughts and visions.
And so it is. That was perfect.
Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of